Hey, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
And Seth from SethMarkwood.com.
Together, along with you, the three of us, we are Markwood Men's Breakfast Club. Welcome back once again, and good morning, boy.
Good morning, Homer.
How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So, a couple things that we're going to do in this episode. Just go ahead and get it up front. We already tried this ancient half and half. Well, we have purchased some sort of new half and half, and we've decided that we're going to smoke both of them in this episode to kind of give us a comparison. But to be fair, we're going to do this kind of blind tasting style. Boy is going to load up 2 miniature corn cobs for me, and I'm going to load up 2 for him, and only we will know which tobacco is in which pipe.
Unless we forget.
Correct. Maybe we'll write it down.
And so the old tobacco that we're smoking, is this the stuff that we have reinvigorated with some moisture?
Yes. Yes. So we put some of it in here, and we added some moisture. We also think maybe we've introduced some mold. Really thrilled by that, but you know, we do this so you don't have to. And also, while you go ahead and start loading. Again, we're not smoking this. We're smoking what we've re-energized.
You use the term "kind of new" because
there's a story here. Yeah, went to a little local head shop that I knew had some older tobacco, and they had this tin of half and half, and the label on top said $23.99. That's about a $35 tin now if you find it. Little fermentation.
I thought it felt really tight.
So
I thought maybe it's just been full.
It's been on the shelf for a long, long time there. I've seen it for years, and it was covered in dust, and I brought it up to the register, and the guy at the register sold it to me for $20. So you didn't notice that the lid was bulging?
No, I did, but I thought I touched it. It felt really firm. I thought maybe it was just full to the top, and it is. It is very well full, but was not expecting it to explode in my face.
So while Boy is loading my 2 pipes, and then I don't want him to just hand me the tobacco after he's loaded one, because I'll know which one he loaded
This is
first.
the moldy tobacco, right?
Yes.
Excellent.
So while he's doing that, I want to tell you a quick story about my BRTV mug. That's right. I have a BRTV mug. If you don't know about BriarReport.com, BriarReport.org, 2 excellent websites that you should be visiting. They're basically aggregating content from all over the World Wide Web that relates to pipe smoking. And it's also the official, unofficial list of YTPC members, at least those who have channels. But Briar Report TV was launched a couple months ago as an alternative location for us to share videos just in case the YouTube police come down on YTPC, on tobacco users. So I jumped on the website, and my intention was to purchase 2 of these mugs, and I couldn't figure out I could add 1 to the cart, but I couldn't add 2 to my cart. And so it went through the whole purchase process, and I thought, well, I guess I'll have to order 2 of them separately. And then I went back to the beginning of the process and saw that, oh, wait a second, it says to order multiples to send a message to Phil, that Phil would work out a deal to get you some better pricing on shipping. Fair enough. I started to send a message off to Phil, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and purchase 2. Well, he sent me a message and basically in the end said, look, we're going to gift you 1 of these. So there you go, Boy. You have your own Briar Report TV mug. I have my own. Phil would love to get these into your hands, and so please, I'll put a link down below in the doobly-doo for you to get your own. He did say that they're not exactly dishwasher safe. These, I don't know if these were printed on demand or how these were done. Yeah. But you know, hey, we can hand wash a mug this cool. And I went and bought some coffee. So you're not drinking coffee though, are you?
This video, it is Christmas Day.
Oh, Merry Christmas.
It is Christmas morning. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, boy.
How
did I not know that?
I don't know. We will... Is that right? I'm pretty sure that's right. Isn't it Christmas on Wednesday?
Yeah, Christmas is on Wednesday this year.
So, Merry Christmas. The reason I bring it up is, it's a little too late to ask for this as a gift, but if you've got some gift cards or some money, what a great way to spend those.
You gonna put something in here?
Yeah. I'm not a coffee drinker.
So while you're doing that, talk about something.
Okay.
And I guess you could have talked about Christmas. I'm going to go ahead and get your 2 pipes loaded.
We're going to get some red cherry mellow yellow zero up in here. The smell,
Wait,
smells...
we're not using this one. I almost put the dry stuff in your mug.
This smells really nice. It smells nice and sweet. The other doesn't have much, the old stuff doesn't have much of a smell at all.
Well, that's going to be a tell then.
Maybe. I don't know if that really translates. So, I had an opportunity earlier today to take part in a wedding. And, that's always, very honoring. It's honoring just to be asked. This is a particular case because I don't know the bride or groom particularly well, and I thought it was really interesting what the groom did. He when he approached me, he said, "Look, I don't have a lot of really close friendships. I don't have many men in my life that I could or would ask to fill this role in a typical sense, and so the way I'm looking at it is I'm asking men that I want to stand behind me and would like to get to know better and hope that will support me and my wife in our future marriage into the future." And so, it was a very different type of honor to be asked in this way.
But Paul Rudd?
Huh?
Is his name Paul Rudd?
No. Why?
Wasn't that the theme of a movie with Paul Rudd? Wasn't it Paul Rudd who starred in a movie where he didn't have a lot of friends? And
so I Love You Man.
I Love You Man. That's
I Love You Man. Yeah, I guess.
All right, so here's your 2 pipes.
Thank you. And your 2 are right there.
I see them. And
the most interesting thing about this experiment to me is that I know I pack a pipe very differently than he does.
Yes, we do pack.
And so you're going to have to pack yours tighter because I didn't want to do that to you, and I'm just going to have to suffer the consequences because I know you can't unpack.
I didn't pack tight.
Okay, because I know it's hard to unpack once it's packed. Oh, this brings to mind something I wanted to mention. So we had the question asked a couple weeks ago on Tobacco Advent. When you light your pipe with a Zippo, do you get a really strong fuel taste and flavor? That's hot.
It's good television, man.
And so I know my answer to that. How would you answer?
Zippo brand tobacco or fluid is better than most. And usually, if you're getting that, you just need to let it burn off a little bit before, and that's all it takes right there, is to burn off that initial, kind of like a match in that respect.
Yeah, I only notice it immediately.
By the way, we're gonna cheers.
Cheers.
I say that more because I'm interested in the coffee.
Yeah. There's an initial flavor of lighter fluid for me, and then it dissipates almost immediately. I've not found it has any sort of lingering effect or taste on the tobacco itself or on the way it smokes beyond that. And so it's actually not very bothersome. I know purists, I saw some people mention that they do the first light with a match and then any subsequent lights with the Zippo. We've often used Bic just because they're reliable and have even less.
99.7% of the time, it's a Bic for me.
Yeah. There have been a number of times, you know, I carry some Zippos in my bag, but the infrequency with which I smoke, almost 99% of the time, from one time I need it to the next, everything's evaporated and there's no fuel in it.
Which doesn't happen with the Bic.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so we're going to smoke the half and half. We'll switch here in just a few minutes and see what we think of the difference.
I have a prediction already about which one this is.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it yet, but
okay,
I got a prediction.
So, something I want to admit, since Thanksgiving, I have put on 10 pounds.
Ooh.
Very frustrating, and it kicked off, literally kicked off with Thanksgiving. And it's like, okay, I smoked a turkey, and I did those pork belly burnt ends. But, you know, I also went ahead and enjoyed some of the other things that family members had made, including a number of the desserts.
You made cauliflower mashed potatoes, and there was a lot of
I did a lot of low carb food, and but it all it took for me was eating those sweet desserts to slowly just sort of click in the carb monster in me. And then the next thing I knew, I was having a couple of the corn chips at dinner at the Mexican restaurant with the salsa. And then I went ahead and ordered the quesadilla fajita, right, which had a tortilla, a flour tortilla. That's not a whole lot of carbs. And then this last week, where I was in California, you know, so much good Mexican food, unbelievable, much of which was carbs. And I was telling Boy, it's really frustrating because, you know, I had the opportunity to eat a lot of amazing low carb foods. I didn't make that choice.
Yeah.
And literally in no time, I shoot up 10 pounds. Now I know from my own experience that if I get serious and get right back on the low carb train, I'll drop that 10 pounds in a week, just as I put it on in a week. But it's unbelievably frustrating. And I know in this time of year, a lot of people are tempted by those cookies that the coworker makes, or that their kids, you know, make some dessert that they want you to try. You know, it happens to a lot of people that they deal with weight gain during the holidays. But I didn't expect it to hit as hard as it did, and as fast as it did. I got on the scale this morning and was just super depressed about it.
Yep, I have definitely been there. I was talking to several people actually at the wedding about, they were talking about dieting, not eating carbs, you know, as several of them have cupcakes that they're eating, talking about the need to cut out carbs and go on keto or something like it. And, you know, it came up that I have done that. And, you know, like you, I've gone back and forth throughout the year. It's difficult when traveling, it's challenging this and that time. And so, you know, net for the year, I'm up 20 pounds where I was last year. This year, I've ranged anywhere in a 60-pound window. Of just weight gain and then loss and then gain and then loss and then gain and then loss. And so
it's so healthy for us too.
Yeah, well, it's definitely frustrating because, you know, having such consistent loss and then to be in this bit of a yo-yo frame is tough. But you know, I'm in it. I'm dedicated to keep moving the needle back down again. And I think for me, excuse me, what that means is a mental start reset, not with eating keto, but with some of the discipline that came with that at the front. You know, when I first started, really watching the calories or watching the macros and being very diligent about not. It's really easy to just estimate carbs or estimate things that you're eating in the day, and it's just super easy to overdo it before you know it. You know, well, I'm just going to have 2 corn chips, turns into 10 corn chips, turns into the tortilla, and, well, all it's had is a tortilla and a few corn chips.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, you know, for me, that's more carbs than I can have in a day.
That's over 40 carbs, right? And my goal had been 20 carbs a day.
Yeah.
And you take in enough carbs just in the food that you know is low carb to get to 20 pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then if rather than say, hey, I'm going to save up these 20 for eating something I shouldn't eat, now I'll try to spend those 20 on something like sweet potato or something that has some dietary benefit to it as well. You know, your salad is going to have more carbs in it than
than you think it does.
Than a stick of butter.
Right.
Well,
I'm done with that one.
Well, so it was in that vein that I was at a Aldi grocery store today.
I'm gonna start type number 2. Okay.
All right. And I picked up these 2 products. I was looking at the beef jerky, and beef jerky can be very high in carb because they put a lot of sugar in it because that makes it taste good. And I'd never seen this product before. How would you pronounce that? Is it beef? Right there.
Biltong.
Biltong? Beef biltong. Teriyaki and original. And I normally would not go with the teriyaki because teriyaki tends to have a lot of sugar in it. But this has got 0 carbs per serving and 1 carb per package. And there are 2 carbs per package, or 2 servings per package. This one also 0 and 1. So you could eat this whole package for 1 carb. And looking at the ingredients, just the standard beef one has beef, vinegar, contains less than 2% of salt, raisin juice concentrate, and spices. You say raisin juice, you know, A1 contains raisins. And so that kind of a flavor I would expect. Where the teriyaki contains beef, soy sauce, which itself has a bunch of different things in it, less than 2% of salt, raisin juice concentrate, spices, natural smoke flavor. So, have you ever had this?
No.
Let's see what this stuff is. I'm hoping it's at least as good as beef jerky. It's hard to find a commercial beef jerky that's low in carbs. All right, that's really, really dry.
I think biltong is something. I don't think this is a traditional jerky. I think this is like
tongue.
Yeah, very thin.
So it says
skin or.
Biltong is a centuries-old process of drying and preserving meat. A blend of spices are added, giving biltong a flavorful taste. The wholesome and nutritious snack is high in protein, has 0 grams of carbohydrate and sugar per serving, allowing you to enjoy guilt-free. Now, this particular brand is distributed exclusively by Aldi, or so it says. That is at least as dry as that old half and half.
Maybe.
Let's try the teriyaki. It does have a Ziploc seal on it. Take a second.
I forgot which one is which now.
By the way, the thing I like a lot about this mug is it's double-sided. It's like the guys on Good Mythical Morning are drinking out of a mug that only has their logo on one side. So they unnaturally are always having to reach for it with their left hand to keep the logo outward facing. Good design, Phil.
Shoot, I forget which one I smoked first.
Okay, try teriyaki.
I totally screwed up this experiment.
No, try it again.
You've not even started on number 2.
No, not yet. I'm still smoking number 1. I can't say that I prefer one over the other. I could snack on that.
Yeah.
If we weren't talking, I would chew that a bit more. Okay, so I guess we're moving on.
This is interesting. Because I have two very conflicting feelings about these two tobaccos.
I don't like this one at all. Not at all. I'm going back to the other one, which wasn't great.
Yeah. So one of them, I would say, one of them, for me, had what felt like a weird casing.
Okay.
But then was bland. The other one is more flavorful, more smoky.
Okay, so I'm smoking number 2, and number 2 is less offensive than number 1 to me. Number one I'm finding quite offensive. Mm. So which one did you pack with number 1?
Number 1 is the old one.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. It didn't do well. It didn't hold up well to my taste. Which one of the two do you prefer?
Number 1 is the one that's bland.
Okay.
Number 2 is not great, but it actually tastes like tobacco. So I think number 2.
Number 2 is the newer of the two. So, 40-plus-year-old half and half does not hold up well at all. Mm. We forced ourselves to smoke it the last time, and it didn't rehydrate well, and the fact that we believe that there was some mold on the paper towel that we wetted down may have activated some mold spores that were already in the tobacco.
Not a super great sign.
So from now on, this is just decorative?
Yeah. And the other one is probably just decorative. I mean, it's fine.
It is just fine.
Yeah.
I'm really curious.
With anything else laying around, I'm going to probably smoke anything else. Just about. No, I mean, as long as it's something, I mean, with 1Q, Fruit Loop tobacco, everything that has been sent in from Tobacco Advent,
all better than that.
I'm not smoking that.
That's true. So the new product that we just opened up, I believe is at least 10 years old. Let me see why I came to that conclusion. Did it have a copyright or a use by? No.
I thought it was a sticker on it that said 2017.
Copyright 2012. I'm sorry, 2010.
2010.
So it's 9 years old. Well, I mean, that label could be.
Yeah.
It could still be newer than that.
At least, or at most, it's 9.
Could be 9 years old.
I mean, the way it exploded on me.
Yeah, it was fermenting. It's all right. Tobacco will do that. Yeah. Definitely the newer stuff. Now, another question came up.
Sorry. I took a bigger mouthful of the beef jerky and let it rehydrate a little bit. Definitely is that A1 flavor. Raisin flavor. That last bite was definitely A1.
That was the original that you were eating. Mm-hmm. So that brings about yet another thing that we might want to converse about. And that is somebody sent a message saying, hey, any chance I can get a hold of some of that 40-plus-year-old half and half? We've been asked that before about our Fruit Loopy German tobacco. And one of the things that I have to explain is when the FDA deemed that everything that was related to smoking tobacco is now considered a tobacco product, we went out and got a tobacco license. Not that we're interested in selling tobacco, but we are interested in continuing to sell corncob pipes. Mm-hmm. And so if they were ever to come back at us, we would be able to say we have a tobacco license. That said, it kind of puts us now in that category that I'm not allowed to sell tobacco. I'm not allowed to give tobacco. I mean, I am allowed to sell it, but now I have to tax it and document it and stuff like that. And just like your local tobacconist is not allowed to give you free samples of tobacco, they have to charge you something. And then now you're charging for tobacco, which puts you in a whole nother loop.
Different tax.
So while we ask people to send us tobacco for Tobacco Advent, I unfortunately am not able to reciprocate with tobacco.
Yeah.
Now, when we meet each other face to face at a meetup or someplace, I am happy to open up my tobacco bag and we will share in everything that I have. And maybe if we end up going to Chicago again or something, we'll take that half and half with us for folks to be disgusted by.
Yeah. We won't moldify it.
But it's a very frustrating position to be in, to feel like I am now precluded from being a part, one of the most interesting parts of the YouTube pipe community, and the fact that people share, and which is one of the reasons why we do contests and give away corncob pipes as much as we can.
Yeah.
So I'll probably run afoul with the law on that one at some point too.
Someday. Hey, what have we been smoking in, by the way?
It's a miniature. It's a miniature pipe. One of these is a finished one. One of these is a naked one. Just called a miniature. Has no other name.
Tiny.
There are some that say that this is too small to be legitimately a smoking pipe, that it's more decorative. This
Smoke
is
just fine.
This is the same size, I got one here somewhere, as the shortstop, only the shortstop has a much longer wooden stem on it, but with the same size bit.
Right.
And, you know, these can be hard to get a hold of. They come in and out of inventory for some reason. But the miniatures are always available. I find they're handy, especially we whip these out when somebody sent something that I just didn't think I was going to enjoy.
Right.
So I will smoke in this and not funk up a favorite pipe.
Right. Or if you're smoking 40-year-old moldy tobacco, it's a good opportunity for that.
Correct. My point exactly.
Well, I think that about wraps us up for today's episode, but Merry Christmas. Hope that you have had an incredible year as it comes to a close. We probably won't have a video for the next week or two as we are traveling and doing family holiday stuff. As we've talked before, Tobacco Advent takes a lot out of our families because it means a lot of our time is spent here at the shop with you, which we love, but we love to be loved by them. And so thank you for watching today. Thank you for Tobacco Advent. Again, Merry Christmas. Enjoy your time with family.
And don't miss today's episode of Tobacco Advent.
That's right. The last of the season, probably.
All right. Probably. Merry Christmas. We'll see you soon.
Christmas. Bye.